Have you ever dreamed of speaking a new language so fluently that words flow effortlessly, as if they were part of you? Imagine traveling abroad, making friends, connecting deeply, and never fumbling for words again. That dream isn't far-fetched. It just needs the right approach. In Fluent Forever, Gabriel Wyner reveals how anyone can learn any language fast and never forget it, using science, memory techniques, and a mindset shift that changes how we think about learning. Chapter 1. Introduction. Stab, stab, stab. Language learning, according to Gabriel Wyner, is like fencing, a sport that demands practice until every move becomes instinctive. He begins by sharing his own unlikely journey from an opera singer forced to learn multiple languages to his self-taught polyglot who turned his struggle into a science. Wyner recalls his time in intense language immersion programs, where he learned that the key to fluency isn't intelligence or talent. It's having a method that matches how the human brain naturally works. He learned through trial and error that there are 3 core principles behind mastering any language. Learn pronunciation first, don't translate, and use spaced repetition systems. Pronunciation, he insists, is the foundation of everything. Once your ears and mouth are tuned to a new language, vocabulary and comprehension come faster. The second key, avoiding translation, forces your brain to think in a new language rather than decoding it through English. And the third, spaced repetition systems, SRS, ensure that what you learn is never forgotten by scientifically spacing review sessions. Through stories of his own failures in Hebrew and Russian and later success in German and French, Wyner makes it clear that fluency isn't about rote memorization or endless grammar drills. It's about creating automatic, emotional connections to the language, so you can stop thinking about words and just speak. This chapter sets the tone for the book. Language learning isn't an impossible task. It's a learnable, repeatable process. Chapter 2. Upload. 5 Principles to End Forgetting. Wyner dives into how memory really works and why most people forget what they study. Forgetting, he says, isn't failure. It's a natural part of the brain's filtering system. The goal is to hack that system so it works for us, not against us. He outlines 5 revolutionary memory principles. Make memories more memorable. Connect new words to vivid imagery, emotion, and personal experience. A word like gato shouldn't mean just cat. It should remind you of a childhood pet or a funny internet meme. The more senses involved, sound, sight, emotion, the more permanent the memory. Maximize laziness. Work smarter, not harder. Overlearning and rote repetition are a waste of time. Instead, stop studying the moment you can recall something once. Your brain remembers better when it's not overloaded. That don't review. Recall, passive review doesn't work. Instead, actively test yourself. Every time you struggle to remember a word and succeed, your brain chemically strengthens that memory. Wait. Don't tell me. The closer you are to forgetting something before you recall it, the stronger it becomes. This is why spaced repetition, reviewing material just before you forget it, is the most powerful memory method ever discovered. Rewrite the past. Each time you recall something, your brain slightly rewires it, allowing you to refine your understanding. By linking new experiences to what you already know, you make every recall session a little smarter than the last. Wyner illustrates these ideas with examples from neuroscience and his own learning journey. He explains how to transform bland flashcards into powerful memory tools that make learning addictive. The key is emotion. When language feels personal, the brain refuses to forget. Chapter 3. Sound play. Before learning your first word, Wyner says, train your ears. Pronunciation is the doorway to understanding and speaking fluently. Most learners skip this step, but it's the most crucial. By learning how a language sounds, your brain learns to hear differences you previously couldn't. Once your ear can distinguish subtle sounds, like the difference between you and you in German, learning becomes faster and more enjoyable. This chapter focuses on ear training, mouth training, and visual pattern recognition. Wyner guides readers to start with pronunciation trainers, phonetic alphabets, and minimal pair drills, e.g., bit, versus beat to rewire both hearing and speech. The goal is not perfection, but awareness. He wants learners to build a mental map of their language's sound system. He emphasizes that mastering pronunciation doesn't just help you sound native. It accelerates vocabulary acquisition and comprehension. When your ears are sharp, new words stick faster. Wyner shares stories of how improving his accent in German and French transformed his confidence and communication, earning respect and connection from native speakers. The chapter ends with a practical takeaway. Before worrying about grammar or vocabulary lists, invest your time in learning your language's sound system. It's the secret weapon of rapid fluency, the skill that unlocks all others. Chapter 4. Wordplay and the Symphony of a Word. Wyner begins this chapter by emphasizing that words are not just collections of letters. They are living, breathing symbols of meaning and experience. He introduces his concept of the symphony of a word, where every word is built from sounds, images, emotions, and context. To learn words deeply, one must engage all the senses and tie each word to vivid personal associations rather than mere translations. Translating words into English, he argues, breaks the emotional link and turns learning into mechanical memorization. He suggests starting with 625 foundational words, the most common and concrete ones that form the core of everyday communication. These words like dog, water, sun, or mother represent tangible concepts that are easy to visualize and connect to personal memories. Wyner encourages learners to create flashcards for each of these using pictures, not translations. For instance, instead of linking chat, French for cat, to the English word cat, one should connect it to an image of an actual cat, perhaps even their own pet. This strengthens recall and bypasses the need for translation entirely. Wyner also touches on the importance of context and gender in languages that use it. Rather than memorizing arbitrary gender rules, he proposes building mental stories or visual cues. For example, associating masculine words with strength or shape and feminine words with softness or roundness. These visual and emotional tricks transform vocabulary study into a creative, playful process. The chapter ends with a call to action. Make every word a story. When you do that, learning vocabulary becomes an emotional, sensory experience that your brain refuses to forget. Chapter 5. Sentence Play. Having built a strong vocabulary foundation, Wyner now moves to sentences, the next level of fluency. He likens grammar to the framework of a language's music. Words are notes, but sentences create the melody. Grammar, in his view, should never be memorized in isolation. Instead, it should be experienced through meaningful input, real conversations, texts, and stories. He introduces two guiding principles: input and output. Input means exposing yourself to large amounts of natural language through reading, listening, and observing how words fit together. Output means using what you've learned to form your own sentences. He suggests that learners simplify grammar by turning big rules into small, digestible chunks. Complex tenses and conjugations can be understood more easily when attached to memorable phrases or funny images. Wyner even shares mnemonics, like visualizing Arnold Schwarzenegger flexing for strong verbs, to make grammar unforgettable. He also encourages learners to make grammar personal. Instead of memorizing textbook examples, use sentences about your own life. I'm learning Spanish, my friend lives in Tokyo, or I love strong coffee. Each personalized sentence creates emotional weight, which cements grammar naturally. Wyner ends the chapter by showing how this process makes speaking inevitable. By playing with sentences, reading them, tweaking them, using them, learners unconsciously absorb grammar and syntax. Eventually, the rules disappear, replaced by instinctive fluency. Chapter 6. The Language Game. This chapter transforms the process of learning into a game, a challenge filled with creativity and curiosity. Wyner believes that the best learners are the most playful ones. He teaches readers how to turn their goals into measurable missions. Maybe holding a 5-minute conversation, watching a TV show without subtitles, or writing a journal entry in the new language. These personal milestones keep motivation high and progress visible. Wyner then expands on different forms of language play. He introduces the idea of custom vocabulary, learning the words that truly matter to your interests, hobbies, or career. If you love cooking, learn words related to food. If you're an engineer, learn technical terms. By doing this, the language you study becomes an extension of your identity. He also focuses on practical immersion techniques. Watch shows, listen to podcasts, and read short stories in your target language, even if you only understand a few words at first. Each exposure strengthens your listening comprehension and helps your brain connect patterns subconsciously. Wyner also highlights the game of taboo, where learners challenge themselves to describe things without using direct translations. This builds flexibility and forces true fluency. By treating learning like a series of enjoyable missions instead of a chore, Wyner turns the process into an addictive experience. The chapter's message is clear. Language mastery isn't about perfection. It's about consistent play. Chapter 7. Epilogue. The Joy of Learning Languages. In the closing chapter, Wyner reflects on the transformation that happens when you learn a new language. It's not just about communication. It's about unlocking new ways of thinking and connecting with others. Every language carries its own rhythm, humor, and worldview. By learning one, you experience life through new eyes. He reminds readers that the true benefit of learning a language isn't just fluency, it's the joy of discovery. Every new word, phrase, or conversation is a small victory. The process rewires the brain, builds patience, and deepens empathy. You stop seeing language as a subject to master and start seeing it as a lifelong companion. Wyner closes with encouragement. Fluency is achievable for everyone. You don't need to move abroad or spend years studying in classrooms. With the right tools, pronunciation, no translation, and spaced repetition, you can learn any language fast and remember it forever. The journey itself, he insists, is the most rewarding part of all. Fluent Forever is more than a language manual. It's a blueprint for mastering memory, discipline, and joy in learning. Wyner's approach replaces frustration with curiosity, turning language learning into an addictive game that leads to lifelong fluency. Whether you dream of speaking French, Japanese, or Russian, this system gives you the tools to not just learn, but remember forever.